Let's be totally honest here. I think that we can all agree that satire is one of the most misused and wrongly attributed genre of anything ever. Why is this? Because stupid people use the banner of satire as a shield when they get called out for being a dick and mindlessly insulting people, philosophies, or events. That's not satire. Blindly causing controversy for the sake of it is not satire. Parody is not satire, although they are closely related. Satire is essentially parody with a point beyond just being funny. But if that point is just to insult someone or something, that's not satire. That's more akin to tabloid journalism, which is generally frowned upon by people mature enough to have moved on from shitting in their pants. Today we're going to be talking about satirizing philosophies, attitudes, and we're going to be talking about satirizing people. It is actually very different on how you do each, and that is one of the many misconceptions about satire. Here's another one. Satire is a lot closer to criticism than it is to teasing or trolling. The truth of the matter is that satire will inevitably piss people off, but it is not the point of satire to piss people off. Satire is supposed to exaggerate the worldview of those who agree with you to speak specifically to those who don't, with the purpose of preventing them from becoming the caricatures that you have created. Do you follow that? Most importantly though, and I cannot stress this enough, satire is not a defense for slander or libel. Lying about someone or something through your writing is unethical, immoral, and in some cases illegal. If you're going to make satire, you have to know that there is a difference between an exaggeration and a falsehood. Mocking flaws that exist will strongly help your case. Mocking flaws that do not exist will harm your case, make you look less than credible, and in particular cases may result in fines or imprisonment. And no, getting arrested for ruining someone's reputation because you lied about them does not violate your US First Amendment, any more than getting arrested for aiming and not even firing a gun at the president violates your US Second Amendment. Yes, you can make up people and events who follow the extreme ideology of whatever you're satirizing. That's called fiction. The problem comes in when you say that someone did something they never did, or is something that they aren't. If you do that, you're not a satirist, you're a liar. But now that that's out of the way, it's time to piss people off. Like I said, you can't do satire without pissing someone off. Expecting no one to get offended with you is stupid and illogical. So, who is satire supposed to talk to? Well, let's start with this. There is no point in conveying satire to the people who already agree with you. The purpose of satire is more or less to make a moral or political change in the wider world. The point of satire is to make a better world. In essence, the point of satire is to make people agree with you by making what they believe in look ridiculous. That is not an easy task, and it's definitely not done by, I don't know, making up lies about what people believe in or who they are, blindly insulting people, giving away someone's address and telling other people to beat the shit out of them, sending Zelda Williams images of her father Robin hanging from the ceiling and then making fun of her when she left the internet because of it. All of these things have been, in some way, shape, or form, been defended under the shield of satire. You see, with satire, you need to believe in the points that you convey. And what is the point conveyed by any of this? That people shouldn't grieve when someone they love kills themselves? Yeah, the sick person who came up with the stuff may have found it funny, but here's the thing. Satire is never meant for the satirist. If it is only appreciated by the satirist himself, it fails. And doing something for the lulz is more or less doing something because YOLO. I have a feeling that I'm kind of pissing off a bunch of people already, and I haven't even come up with any examples of satire yet. Wait until I start talking about how anarchy is kind of illogical when human nature is taken into account. If you want anarchy, that means you probably don't have much faith in people like leaders or voters. But if you do want anarchy, then you have a lot of faith in people not to backstab each other and follow rules that no one is enforcing. But that's a story for another day. And hell, I've made more controversial arguments like, just because you're on the internet, it's not okay to be a dick. I mean, it's really easy to satirize stupid things people do on the internet. So, a man sees an advertisement on the television about a new store that's just opened up. He gets in his car and breaks the speed limit trying to get to this store. He doesn't even put the car in park as he runs out and bursts through the front door of the store. He shouts, "First!" getting the attention of everyone who was already there. Also, he left his wallet at home and was planning on shopping later at his own convenience. I don't get why people shout first on internet videos. I really don't. You don't get a trophy for doing that. All you're doing is essentially getting people to stare at you awkwardly. You know what I don't get either? College. Did you guys know that college tuition has risen 4 times the rate of inflation in the United States? That is absolutely insane. I went down to a recently opened college and asked why their tuition was $25,000 per year, when they essentially didn't have much of a reputation and they weren't providing any books or including dormitories in that. The guy running the place told me that this was the only way he could afford paying off his student loans. That's satire. I picked a topic that's relevant and one that I truly believe in. College tuition prices are highly unreasonable. Unfortunately, I missed one key point here. The only people who don't think college tuition is too high are the colleges themselves and the for-profit student loan companies. I do think they're trying to change that, though. On the new standardized test, I think they're calling it the USUCK. One of the questions there is it worth stealing away 20 years of your life for a college education? And if you mark anything but C definitely, then it's wrong. Hell, even B yes isn't good enough for half credit. Needless to say, I don't really agree with standardized tests. And coincidentally, they're fucking easy to satirize. I mean, when they're cutting art and gym for more test prep, standardized tests must be really important. I mean, filling in the exact same answers as everyone else means that we should value A, individuality and creativity, B, high test scores, C, good teachers and good students, D, everyone being all the same. Now, that was actually a question made by a satire of the Common Core Aligned standardized tests by an 8th grade girl. She gets satire. Do you? I mean, it's true. Everyone being the same helps people get jobs working in factories until they get replaced by robots, or they get jobs in offices and then get replaced by people who thought outside of the box. I didn't even need to say that standardized tests are stupid to say that standardized tests are stupid. That's the power of the genre. Personally, I think that innovation and creativity are the values that will lead us to holding our place in the future. I'd be wrong, though, if I said that our schools were completely disincentivizing creativity. In reaction to these tests, children's bodies are reacting in all kinds of creative ways, like throwing up and wetting themselves. We have never seen results like this before. Strange how I read in a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure book where the main character goes into the future. There, he can choose to go to school where he's given a test that measures human children to robotic standards. And you don't want to know what happens to the ones who fail. And that book isn't even satire. Although science fiction is a very useful genre for satirizing things like political trends and show them in a future where that regime holds complete control. One thing that you cannot do with satire is backpedal. When you create an act of satire, you make your opinion known. You need to mean what you say. That's why trolling is not satire, as many people claim it is. A troll will likely tell someone to, I don't know, delete System 32 on their hard drive, despite not believing that's a good idea. Oh wait, that's not trolling, that's bullying. Even if he does it to 50 different people he's never met before in his life. Despite people telling me that a troll doesn't target specific people, and a bully targets the same person over and over again. That's apparently the difference between the two. Okay, now I'm just confused. You trolls are all gonna have to give me a calm, rational, and consistent definition of what a troll actually is. Or I just might be confused for life. Which brings us to satirizing specific people, somehow. My best advice for this is usually that this is an unwise thing to do. Like I said, the purpose of satire is to incite a change of some kind. A satire of someone in particular is not likely going to be appreciated by the person at hand. At best, you might get a haha, that is so true, but it's not usually going to incite a change in the person themselves. Usually a satire towards a specific person has less admirable intentions than simple critique. It revolves around something like, this person shouldn't be famous, or this person shouldn't spout their worthless ideas. And this is going to get more controversial than I want it to be. It's really easy to satirize racist and bigoted people out there, but here's the thing, what's the fucking point? They're not going to change, and all you're going to do is give them more attention than they rightfully deserve. Some people deserve even less than negative attention. They deserve no attention at all. You know, these are the kind of people who wrote the tabletop game Racial Holy War, or the type of people who wrote the tabletop game Fatal. For those who don't know, these are pretty much tied for the worst thing in the world. The worst piece of media in existence. Like, Racial Holy War is exactly what it sounds like. It's a tabletop game where you try to get rid of all the minorities. And Fatal, or the Fantasy Adventure to Adult Lechery, is a tabletop RPG that focuses on sexual deviancy and advanced calculus. There's a race in Fatal that rapes and eats children, and in the game you rule for penis size. I'm just betting that someone out there is claiming that either of them are satire. Or that a cataloging website that's pretty much a collaboration between the two is some kind of satire in their own twisted head. You'd have to be an idiot to think that's funny. You see, now that I told you about these things, you're going to be interested in whether they really exist. You're going to seek them out. You're going to be scarred for life, unless you're fucked up as the people who came up with them. It doesn't matter how funny or easy these things are to satirize. Talking about them at all gives them more attention than they deserve. Back to people. I could easily make a writer on some cartoon I don't like be obsessed with giving children nightmares. It would not be a good satire. For one, it's based on an assumption, and assumptions can be and are often wrong. Two, fair or not, it's not going to make the writer not be obsessed with giving children nightmares. And it's not going to change the minds of the people who like the show either. If it did one or the other, it might be worth it, but it doesn't do that. On that note, did the Family Guy episode Tea Peter actually get anyone to quit the Tea Party? No, it didn't. Just blindly insulting people or philosophies goes against the point of satire, even the people or philosophies that you don't like. That college humor short, My Little Brony, did it get anyone to quit being a brony? Not directly, I don't think so. Not to mention they reused the exact same joke in their other brony short. Come on guys, you're better than this. And yes, contrary to popular belief, satire can be bad. It exists, and it's fucking everywhere on the internet. But if I'm making fun of someone's beliefs or actions, then how the hell am I going to get them to agree with me? Satire's hard, isn't it? Step 1, don't create falsehoods, create exaggerations. Step 2, don't be afraid to be offensive, but Step 3. Don't intentionally try to offend people. Step 3 is forgotten by every would-be satirist ever. Take a look at the failed Fox lineup for quick examples. Hell, look at adult cartoons in general. Yeah, if the Powerpuff Girls episode Girls Gone Mild is any indication, it isn't just limited to adult cartoons. You see, when you create satire, people might disagree with your assertions, and you might be wrong sometimes. Satire is not an armor you can use to deflect criticism. It does not prevent you from being insulting, it does not prevent you from being wrong. Let me put it this way. With satire, you can piss off people, but don't ever piss on people. Shorts like that My Little Brony thing or T. Peter pisses on people. And that's completely ignoring the fact that yes, some bronies are incredibly obsessive, and I don't give a shit about politics. In fact, my sister who's turning 18 said she was really excited to finally be able to vote for the president. I told her that I wish I could vote for the president, but it's still quite a few years before I can join the electoral college. I probably couldn't afford the tuition fee anyway. Good satire does piss people off, but all bad satire does is piss on people. If it's any indication, bad satire is second only to torture porns in what I choose to review. Sure, a well-done satire can be the funniest thing in the world, but only if the satirist puts in effort. Being funny takes time, care, and dedication to the right causes. If you're just saying this person is an idiot again and again and again, that's not satire. That's below tabloid journalism, actually. Once again, if you spend all this time and money on animating shit, you've animated shit. If you spend time, care, and dedication to just pissing on a specific group or person, then that's all you're doing, and you really need to reevaluate your life. At the very least, when I review an episode of Family Guy, don't defend its actions under satire.